wealthy businessman, a feared crime boss, or both? On September 20th, 2023, Nkululeko Mkhize found himself in a deadly shootout with South African police, just days after a brutal massacre left 5 men dead. From luxury estates and million-rand cash giveaways to corruption, drugs, and the ruthless underworld of the tender Mafia, this is the rise and violent fall of one of KwaZulu-Natal's most notorious kingpins. Did the police serve justice, or was this a cover-up? Was Mkhize's death justified, or was he silenced before he could expose the real criminals? What do you think? Let us know in the comments below. A quiet night in Zimbali Estate is shattered by gunfire. South African police have just stormed a luxury home, guns drawn, moving swiftly through the hallways. Their target, Nkululeko Mkhize. A man known for his riches, power, and ruthless reputation. They expect him to surrender. But instead, bullets start flying. A gunfight breaks out. Mkhize refuses to go down without a fight. But in the end, he doesn't make it out alive. His death shocks KwaZulu-Natal. Some call it justice, others call it an execution. But to truly understand what happened that night, we need to go back to the beginning. Because this isn't just a story about a man. It's about power, crime, and a system that always protects the rich. The hustler who became a king, Nkululeko Mkhize, came from humble beginnings in Zululand. He never finished school but had an unstoppable ambition. His first job, a petrol attendant, just another young man trying to make a living. But he wanted more. So he found his way into the taxi industry, working under one of Durban's most powerful families, the Gakaba. It was dangerous territory, but Mkhize knew how to survive. Soon, he was running taxis in Richards Bay, something only powerful men could do. From taxis, he moved into construction, scoring government contracts with Transnet, South Africa's state-owned rail and port company. The money started rolling in, and with money came power. But in South Africa, power in the business world is rarely clean. Mkhize didn't just make money, he wanted everyone to know he had it. And nowhere was that more obvious than at traditional Zulu ceremonies, where men flaunt their wealth in a game called indishi. In Zulu culture, indishi is a practice where men display their financial status by making large public cash donations at events like weddings, lobola, bride price, negotiations, and other ceremonies. The more money you throw in front of the crowd, the more respect and status you command. It's a symbolic way of proving dominance, generosity, and success. For Mkhize, this wasn't just about tradition, it was about making a statement. He wanted everyone to see that he wasn't just wealthy, but untouchable. His indishi contributions often made headlines, reinforcing his image as a high roller with deep pockets and powerful connections. But this kind of flashy wealth can also attract enemies. The more Mkhize flaunted his success, the more he painted a target on his back, whether from rival taxi bosses, jealous associates, or law enforcement watching his every move. In the end, his desire to be seen as the king of Richards Bay may have contributed to his downfall. He arrived with a 30-person entourage, including heavily armed bodyguards. At the event, public cash donations flowed, from 5,000 rand to 100,000 rand. But Mkhize, he outdid them all, dropping 1.5 million rand in cash. Among the guests were powerful figures. Enzu Maunu, a vocal Zuma supporter Malloy Zandi, a Black Business Federation leader who donated 20,000 rand. But behind the luxury cars and designer clothes was a darker reality. Mkhize wasn't just a businessman, he controlled industries. His ties to the Gakaba family gave him a stronghold in the taxi business, a sector known for violent turf wars. His brother, Zele Africa Mkhize, aka Matula, was a powerful Durban taxi boss and a co-accused in a corruption trial involving former eThekwini mayor Zandile Gumede, a known Zuma ally. And it wasn't just taxis. Mkhize expanded into construction, extortion, and even drug trafficking. A leaked voice note revealed how he forced hawkers and small businesses to pay protection money.
Kunjani mfowethu amahlobo? Cha ndoda, ngithi angisebenzise inamba yakho la ngoba iyona namba engiyitholile. Ngicela ungidlulisele le message kubafowenu enisebenza nabo nonke ukuthi yonke into la iBay, Mr D, Uber Eats, take a lot, yonke leyo nto leyo kanye nani ngolesibili. Yonke leyo nto leyo kusuka manje njalo makuphela inyanga isithuthuthu nesithuthuthu noma imoto nemoto ngifuna 100 rand kuyona kusuka manje. Ungisizeke ungidonsele bona ngendlela abantu bakho singakubangi lokho engikushoyo. Uma kukhona uthi ufuna ukungazi ungitshele ngizofika lapho. Nkululeko Mkhize ngizofika mina lapho. Noma uma nenamba yami ungitshele ngizomnika inamba yami. Ngolesibili ekseni yonke imoto sonke isithuthuthu ngizocela 100 rand kusona. Cela mfethu ungisizeke ungidlulisele kubafowenu labe nisebenza nabo wonke ukuthi ngisho njalo.
Every taxi in his area had to pay 100 rand per day. He even tried to extort food delivery drivers, forcing Mr. Delivery riders to pay him fees. Locals said his men collected money in literal buckets, but his rise to power wasn't without enemies, and one rival would change everything. One of Mkhize's biggest business connections was Judia Muyu. Judia Muyu played a crucial role in Nkululeko Mkhize's rise to power. While Mkhize was the public face of his empire, Muyu operated behind the scenes, acting as a silent partner in his towing business. Their relationship was built on mutual benefit. Muyu provided resources and connections, while Mkhize's growing influence in the taxi and business world expanded their profits. But as with many underworld partnerships, money, power, and personal conflicts eventually drove them apart. Their first major dispute came over business. The towing industry in South Africa is notoriously cutthroat, with different factions fighting for control over accident scenes and lucrative contracts. Muyu had helped Mkhize establish himself. But as Mkhize's power and confidence grew, he reportedly started making moves without consulting his partner. This didn't sit well with Muyu, who felt sidelined despite the role he played in Mkhize's success. Disagreements over money, decision-making, and expansion strategies created a deep rift between them. But business wasn't the only issue. Their relationship became even more volatile when personal matters got in the way. The two men allegedly found themselves entangled in a love triangle, both vying for the same woman. In the underworld, personal feuds can be just as deadly as business rivalries, and this betrayal added fuel to an already burning conflict. What may have started as a competition for affection quickly escalated into resentment and hostility. Their feud didn't stay private for long. In 2021, a special police task force was formed to investigate murders linked to Richards Bay mineral disputes. Many believed Mkhize was at the center of it all. And then came the moment that sealed his fate. September 19th, 2023. A white Volkswagen Polo pulled up outside a Richards Bay shopping complex. 4 gunmen jumped out and opened fire. 5 men were gunned down on the spot. 2 were suspected rival drug dealers. 3 were innocent bystanders. It was a brutal execution, and police believed Mkhize was behind it. The very next day, they launched a manhunt. On September 20th, 2023, police stormed Mkhize's luxury Zimbali estate mansion. They expected him to surrender. Instead, he fought back. A deadly shootout broke out. By the time the dust settled, Mkhize and an associate were dead. Inside, police found 3 pistols, 1 revolver, 2 shotguns, over 1,000 rounds of ammunition. But after his death, a bigger question emerged. Was Mkhize silenced? His death wasn't just another crime boss getting taken down. It felt orchestrated. Zimi Zimdola Belela, a celebrity radio presenter, publicly accused the police of assassinating Mkhize. A Sunday Times source revealed that police were disappointed because Mkhize had vital information on high-level corruption and Richards Bay murders. Was Mkhize's death a way to keep him quiet? This wouldn't be the first time. Across South Africa, police were killing high-profile suspects instead of arresting them. In Marion Hill, 9 men were killed in a similar raid. In March 2023, the Gakaba family was accused of paying 800,000 rand for rapper AKA's murder, a claim they denied. And so, the biggest mystery remains: was Mkhize a dangerous crime boss, or just another pawn in a much bigger game? Mkhize's funeral was a spectacle in itself. The most powerful people in KwaZulu-Natal attended: businessmen, politicians, and community leaders. Even in death, Mkhize commanded respect. Yet, many wondered, was he a businessman who got caught up in a dangerous world, or was he truly one of the biggest crime bosses in South Africa? His story has become a symbol of the blurred lines between business, politics, and crime in South Africa. Was Mkhize just a victim of the system, or did he actively feed the very system that led to his downfall? One thing is certain: Nkululeko Mkhize's story is far from over. His death may have ended his life, but his legacy continues to ripple through the underworld and beyond. Did the police serve justice? Or was this a cover-up? What do you think? Was Mkhize's death justified? Or was he silenced before he could expose the real criminals? Let us know in the comments. And if you found this story insane, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because we've got more stories coming.